Think we're being recorded now. I just heard the ding.
Yeah, did somebody kick off the recording? Louis, maybe you joined?
I think Kid joined.
Not seeing keys. Maybe you drop off.
Yeah, it's not message that Keith started the recording.
Okay, well, since we have the recording, we probably should continue go on with the meeting now. So, Stephen, you're up first on the status of info migration.
Hello? Can you folks hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Sorry. My computer was being weird. Yeah, I just wanted to give a quick update on the status of the infra migration. Some background is that we have to move from GCP to something else, not GCP, by the end of the year. So far what we've done is, I think the broad goal is to try to have our infrastructure be provider agnostic. So if in the future we can't use Cloudflare or Oracle or whatever, we can make a transparent switch to whatever backend we have. So right now what we have is a registry redirector. So you can Docker pull registry.istio, and that will forward the request to another registry. Right now it's Docker, but we can switch that out to, say, GitHub Container Registry or anything else. I think the plan is to do the same with blob storage. And the main thing here would be the Helm charts. So you would add a Helm repo that's like blob.istio and we can change the backend transparently. That we haven't implemented. I think the decision, I'm not sure, or that we made is we want to use GitHub Container Registry for container images, and R2, Cloudflare R2 for blob storage. And we might want to move all our build artifacts to R2. Yeah. But we definitely want to move all our release artifacts to R2, so you will be able to pull and install really old Istio versions. And the last thing I think in this whole step is to move our CI to CNCF infra. So I think that's going to be Oracle Cloud with Pro. Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for the update. Is there any decision point you need the team? Or
The decision points, I think, right now we're just setting up stuff so we can transparently redirect. I think the decisions are what we want to use as our blob storage and what we want to use as our container registry. So I was thinking about GitHub Container Registry, but we can definitely consider other alternatives, and that's kind of the point of having the redirector. Of it it doesn't cost users anything if we switch.
Yeah, definitely. I remember CNCF provides a project that allows you, I can't remember the project name now, but you can put a convenient link of the registry there, and it also show you download stats. But it's the similar idea what you just said, that
Mhm.
the link is transparent regardless the underlying. I can't remember the project. I'll just send it when I find it. It's some
Okay,
type
cool.
of analytical projects that you can configure your
Mhm.
project with, and they give you a particular URL for image download. So
Mhm.
everything goes through that, and they provide stats on a monthly basis or real time,
Yeah.
anytime you want it. Mike, go ahead.
I wanted to ask, not about decision points, but Steven, do you need any help?
No, not really. No. I think I'm just writing code, and once we run into issues, I'll make sure to let people know.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, should we move to the next topic, or is that anything else we want to discuss on this? Unfortunately, John and Keith are not here. I think they're more involved with the
Yeah.
the effort. So,
In a group chat, yeah.
but I
Yes,
appreciate
Stephen,
you.
are we on track with like timelines and things?
Yeah, I mean, the only real thing that we needed to get out, I think, was changing the container registries and having something for people to use.
Okay.
Right. I think that's what I'm thinking about more in terms of user impact. After that come the Helm charts, which matter a little less. Yeah.
What about the Docker registry? Are they not good enough?
Well, we do use the Docker registry right now. So if you do like Docker pull registry.istio.io, they it goes to Docker, and we don't get rate limited because they have their like open source program.
Yeah.
But I don't think we want to rely on that open source program existing.
Okay, so these are the backup plan if the Docker registry is not good enough. Because I saw the comments Daniel had, the GitHub CR has bad uptime.
Yeah. Honestly, I think we might be able to stick with GitHub CR now, for now. Sorry, for Docker for now for production, and then we can use something else for our staging. Images, or maybe we can get them onto Docker. I haven't thought too much about it.
Yeah, I know that we have this really, really impressive stats on Docker. That's why I almost
Like a
feel
little too impressive, right?
a little bit too impressive, but I almost feel we want to stay with Docker for released images because those stats are so cool.
Yeah.
Stephen, do we have similar stats capabilities with registry.istio.io?
Yes. So that's another great thing. So we can see number of polls over time, which ones succeed, which ones don't. I can send them to in a sec.
Thanks.
And then we'll be able to do the same with the blob storage.
Nice.
They are somewhat less public though, which I think is what Lynn was getting to.
So this is not as public as the Docker one.
No.
Everybody
No.
can view, yeah, which is very powerful.
Mhm.
All right, shall we move to Liam next? Thank you, Stephen, for that update and your hard
Of
work
course.
on this. Liam, you're here, right? Okay, maybe you are muted. I think you're just asking for a review.
Yeah, sorry. My daughter had muted my microphone on my mixer. Yeah, Keith's already gone through and approved, and Stephen's reviewed. So I just need to sign off from environments, and ideally, I'd like this in 1:30, and not have to wait for 1:31. So
Do we ever get anywhere with the merging environments and UX into one?
I know we had discussed about it. I think he's wrote a document on it.
Yeah.
I don't remember implement yet.
anyway, yeah, the APIs or PRs already merged, so
Okay.
I'd rather not have to back out the API change just for 1:30. So if I could get approval, that'd be great.
Yeah, I remember you talk about this for a long time. Would be good to get in. I wish there's an easy way to review. Only
Yeah,
review the environmental portion, which I do think I have access to, but I don't want to, review all the other stuff Keith's already approved. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Len, you are an environment maintainer. I'm just looking at the list.
Anyway, we don't need to discuss this too much. Just
Okay. Yeah.
It's as long as if you're volunteering, then that's fine. As long as I have someone to annoy, that's okay.
All right. Thank you, Liam. I will try to take a quick look just on the environment portion. Peter, I think you're up next.
Oh yeah, so thank you, Lynn. Just quick reminder that 1:30 we're planning to cut branch on Monday. So just for everyone information, that's it.
Okay, cool. And that's linked to a Slack link. Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, I got 2 thumbs up from Yulin and from Kit. So
Yeah,
yeah, and also I'm working with Liam to make sure we update documentation with feature details for his PR just above.
Okay, cool. Does anybody have any concerns? Because I think this is coming up next Monday, maybe?
Yes, it's Monday, April 13th, yes.
I just confirm this is feature freeze, right?
Yeah, that's what branch cut is normally for, I think.
Okay, great. Just wanted to confirm.
Yeah, if you guys run into any issues with the release with the Docker, the registry stuff, or the probably the what's it called, the integration tests, feel free to just ping me a lot. CI was broken for a little bit because of it, and I'm expecting more things to break.
Yeah, we are doing it on Monday, so if something happens, thank you, Steven.
Yeah, and then just I should say it. For the 1.31 release, we might want to branch cut a bit early, because for that one we're gonna push, or we might want to start stuff earlier because we're gonna push stuff to different to also be pushing stuff probably to a new blob storage. Just so there might be some stuff that we want to preempt there.
Yeah, I don't know who's going to be release manager for 131. I don't think we have any place we can mention it right now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'll try to remember it.
Yeah, maybe as a group we'll remember it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Peter and Stephen. Ian, are you up next?
Yeah. So we had a contribution come in that was looking to block like sort of unwanted DNS requests in sidecar mode. It's someone who works with a lot of users, and they've got some that are experiencing this in the wild. So the basic upside is if you're already using our DNS proxy capability, we're already in the flow and we're well situated to handle this. There's some pushback on the PR, or I read it as pushback. It's maybe a little bit ambiguous that we're not intending to be a generic DNS proxy. And so I was just looking to see if we can move this forward. Should it be reviewed for like code correctness? Is this something that we want to just avoid as a scope expansion? Does that make sense? Does anyone have questions?
What's the current consensus on the issue? Like, what's it leaning towards, or is there no consensus? Just feedback or the PR?
There's not much involvement, I don't think, yet. Oh, maybe Keith is typing something. I think, so the way I read the last comment from Rama is that he thinks it's a scope expansion that he's not that into, down at the very bottom. And then Keith was worried about I think the UX a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I want to make sure there's what other, like, is there another way that user could achieve this without Istio?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, they could rewrite their app to not make these curious calls.
Can't Cilium do this?
I don't know.
What's the question, Michi?
I know that Cilium implements FQDN policy by intercepting DNS requests and returning garbage results for bad FQDNs. I don't know if it introspects the particular DNS request type, like SRV, etc., to be able to expose that at the policy level. I will say, like, NetPol in general allows you the ability to block DNS altogether. And this is almost always done unintentionally in production, in my experience. As you write a policy, you know, the only client who can call service A is service B. Or I guess it'd need to be an outbound. Any egress policy that you write needs to also allow for DNS. And that's something that we've intentionally not done in Istio. DNS sort of gets its own magic lane in traffic, in that even if you write a deny all policy, you're still able to get DNS. I would not want to see this sort of feature added without us really intentionally saying we want to move into the DNS policy space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Can you
But it might be a valid move. I just want to make sure we're making it intentionally and understanding this is a substantial expansion on what traffic we have traditionally managed.
So I want to make sure we can provide an update to this person who take the time to submit the PR. I think the recommendation here is this could be potentially done with Cilium by config. I'm not sure if it's a network policy in Cilium or it's a Cilium network policy, but could potentially be done using that without any change in Istio. And we're not sure if anybody else needs this. It seems unfair to add this to the Istio as an additional configuration knob in Istio.
Wait, Lynn, are they using Cilium?
I don't know. Do you know, Ian?
I don't think they are.
I
But
think
it's
we should.
multiple. There's multiple users, and I could try and find out if any of them are.
Yeah, I think we're better off just saying it's out of project scope instead of telling them to change their CNI.
Yeah, I mean, we don't necessarily. Sorry, go ahead, Keith. You raised your hand.
No, you finish. You finish.
I was gonna say, if we just want to call this out of scope or like needs to go to TOC to be added into the scope, I don't think we necessarily have to provide any specific workaround for how we recommend they fix their DNS issues.
I mean, it would be nice to say you could do this.
Yeah,
Right.
might be nice.
Yeah. So actually, sorry, Keith, I think you had a hand. Why don't you say it first?
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I really agree with Mitch on this. I put my thoughts in the agenda while I was on my way over to this meeting. I think it's totally reasonable from a technical perspective from Zthon to be able to do this, and I understand that it's useful. But and again, echoing what Mitch said, does Istio really want to be in the DNS game? The answer to that question might be yes, but there's a lot that goes into that. When it comes to, I almost think that there might even be some lower hanging fruits and value we can provide in the DNS game for things like DNSSEC, upgrading DNS requests, any sort of like adding like proper DNS policy in the way that Cilium does. Like if we want to provide like a DNS suite of functionality and features, we absolutely can. But what I'm more wary of is the sort of trickle of features where we sort of justify each individual use case and we back into being a full DNS security provider without having this holistic view over what sorts of, what the end goals are. So if we go in this direction, I just want to make sure that as a project, we've got a concrete plan and vision for what we want to accomplish.
You said what I was thinking, just much better.
Well, you said it first, so I can't claim credit for it.
Well, great comments compliments each other. I was going to say, Lucas, I know you have a hand. I'll get to you. I was just thinking we had this sidecar resource allows to config sidecar configuration. I don't remember it allows you to config specific DNS within it. And I was just looking at the PI. I don't think they were suggesting config it there either. So, Lucas, go ahead.
I agree. We really should look at this from an overall standpoint for what features we want to provide and like how to do this in Istio. I also agree with the point on the PR that in ambient mode, we already are arbiters of DNS, just implicitly without any control for the user. So it does seem like sort of a gap that like we are already hijacking DNS and it has some negative impacts, but you can't really control policy for it.
Aside from responding to queries for service names that are, within the Istio domain and are not defined in Kubernetes, are we doing other manipulation to DNS? Are we blocking certain DNS requests?
I don't think we block anything, at least in ambient. The one thing we do that's really weird in ambient is when your client makes a DNS query that zTunnel cannot handle from its own registry, zTunnel uses its own DNS configuration in order to forward that. And so if you have client-specific DNS configuration, it gets ignored. That's more of a bug than an intentional feature, but that is going on.
Okay. And where does it, out of curiosity, Ian, where does that zTunnel configuration for DNS come from?
So if you have, so essentially we're just reading it out of, what is it?
Etsy hosts.
So like Etsy
It's
hosts
not out
on
of
the
Etsy
zTunnel
hosts, it's
pod
like
rather than
Etsy-
Etsy hosts on the application pod.
Yeah, we won't look at anything in the application pod's file system.
Gotcha.
The normal, like, I guess you could do stuff in there. You probably shouldn't. There are Kubernetes configurations for it. And most likely, if we were going to support anything, we would add some subset or the whole thing of Kubernetes level configuration into the workload in WDS. And that way, if that exists, we know like what parameters to use when we forward on behalf of some client. And then just if you write arbitrary stuff into your pod's file system, that's out of scope for zTunnel. That's my opinion on it. I mean, I haven't done a full like deep dive on designing that.
Yeah, from what Ian said, I would consider that a bug and something that we can and probably should consider fixing. We're already in the network namespace of the pod, so leveraging the pod network namespace's DNS configuration, to my naive ear, doesn't sound incredibly complicated.
Well, the DNS configuration is part of the file system, not the network namespace, right?
That's where we would read the information from.
Yeah.
I would propose that we don't start doing that. Like we only support DNS configuration that can be done through the Kubernetes API, which is a substantial subset and probably what most people would need. But like I don't think we should start down the path of trying to read like Etsy hosts, for instance, out of the pod file system.
The problem is that the Kubernetes API supports modifying Etsy hosts directly.
Sure, but we should read that from the API and then forward it in that way. Like we have another way to get anything.
Yeah, okay, sorry, I misunderstood you, Ian. That sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, I think we're on the same page then. Like, but you could ostensibly modify that file system in a different way outside the Kube API, and I think that's what we don't support.
That sounds fair.
So like init containers that modify Etsy hosts, zTunnel would not like pick up those changes, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a big outcry that this is incorrect and it needs to be done or whatever, then we can look at it. But I would start with the things that we can, like that Istio can read and just send up WDS for us. That's
okay.
Sorry, can someone explain the current behavior again?
Oh, so basically what happens is we intercept a DNS request in zTunnel and we say, can we resolve this from our own internal registry? And if not, we forward it. But we forward it using the configuration of zTunnel itself, not the configuration that's present in the client making the request. And so it is possible if you have like different configuration for some pods than ztunnel has, that your request is forwarded with different like parameters than you had asked for. And that's weird. It also seems kind of niche. I haven't seen a lot of outcry about it. But it has been called out by some users, and I basically just explained, oh, if you set that on ztunnel, it'll do what you want. And they said, oh yeah, it does what we want. So they didn't have a heterogeneous environment to deal with.
Got it. Thanks.
So can we have somebody write a summary for this person? I think Keith or Mitch might be good to come from you. I think I know him, so I don't want to write it as a summary.
I can take that action item.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Is this something that we want to like move to like a TOC, or we're just gonna go kind of a more firm no for the time being?
I mean, I think I want to see how what Nick's kind of response is. If this is just an individual feature he was hoping to get added, then as it is, it's kind of a no. But if this is something where he wants to drive the Istio product into the DNS space actively and intentionally, that's a conversation we should have. But it's going to require a much more expansive perspective than what I'm seeing in this pull request.
All right, that makes sense to me. Thank you, Mitch.
Yeah, keep the door open and see what he replies.
Yeah.
I think that's the last topic for today. Am I missing anything?
Sorry I had to miss so much. Only question, if Stephen, if you're still here, that I had on the migration, are there any action items for us?
Not really. I think we have to make some decisions at some point. I think R2 is fairly uncontroversial as a blob storage. I think the container registry is a bit up in the air, but it's still April, so I'm not too worried about it.
Okay, yeah, that'll be an important conversation. Yeah, I'll follow up with you. But GitHub for open source should probably be free, it is free, but Istio has a ton of volume, so we'll, hopefully it stays free. Docker should also be free as well. We're just looking for an additional one besides Docker, right?
Well, yeah, for our staging and dev stuff.
Oh,
so
fair,
I guess it doesn't even matter that much.
Gotcha. Thanks.
I guess if we have a moment, I guess question probably for Keith and Stephen mostly. I would like to start looking at getting CIDR support from service entries into ztunnel. And that would be an Istio change to the ambient indexes, as well as a ztunnel change. Do you guys, oh, I see a heart from Keith, so I'll take that as some support. Yeah, I was just going to ask if you would have objections to that, or if you're cool.
And no, happy for me personally to see it. There's a thread I can tag you on, maybe you're already on it, where this was an ask from somebody. So it'll be good to have someone pick that up.
Cool. And then heads up for you, Stephen. I filed a PR. I found a bug in how we handle VIP conflicts in ztunnel. So there's a PR out there to fix it, and we can sync up on that outside of this if you need.
Okay, cool.
Cool. That's all from me then. Thanks.
All right, let's go ahead, wrap this up. Thanks everybody for joining. See you next time.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks.